Caldwell, and this is Hurray Kimmay, the people, places, products, and projects that make you say hooray. My guest today, Bryan, has a very stressful job as the assistant to the president of NBC. He literally takes care of someone else for a living, so how is he supposed to take care of himself? Learn why he says yoga saved his life, and why his new motto is Namaste, bitches. He also shows me how to do the Ganesh move. All this and more coming up on another episode of Hurray Kimmay TV. So,
yes,
here we are in the home of Bryan.
Gorgeous Queens.
With a gorgeous view. I wish
nice,
everybody
right?
could see it.
Yeah, it's the best part of this apartment, actually.
I love it. So, I'm so excited to be here and talk to you about one of my favorite topics.
Cool.
Yoga.
And mental illness.
Yay! So, what I want to talk about first is one really big thing that you said to me that struck me, which is you said yoga saved your life.
Right.
That's a big statement to me.
Totally.
So tell me, what do you mean by that?
Well, I came into yoga because my ex-husband and I, we went to a yoga studio here in Forest Hills for the first time in Queens. And I didn't want to do yoga. I thought it would be too hard. I thought it was too ridiculous. I couldn't do it. Plus, it's not a very flattering look. So I thought there was no way I wanted to do this. But I have been suffering for many years from anxiety disorder, panic disorder, mood disorder, depression, you name it, disorder, that was me. And I needed something to figure it out. Like, I needed some way to and I didn't want to take meds. I didn't want to, self-medicate. So I thought, let me try yoga. And I went the first time, and I had so many bruises on my body. I looked like a victim of spousal abuse. It was terrible. I kept falling over.
But worth it.
Something happened. Something clicked. I felt really good stepping out in a way that was like a natural high. But more importantly, I had a sense that something more was going to happen here. Like, I knew that if I stuck with this, that I would end up feeling better at some point somehow, but I didn't know how. And I was so desperate for something. Yeah. When you wake up in a panic attack like at 2 in the morning, when you can't get on the train because you're sweating like you have the bubonic plague and it's February. Hey.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Right. And we're talking not even from generalized anxiety disorder, which is just anxious, but we're talking extreme. Yeah. I needed to do something, and yoga felt right.
And I'm so glad that happened for you on your first visit, because I've actually struggled with anxiety as well. And I think for a long time, I tried yoga because everybody said it was so great, and it didn't click for me the first time.
What kind of anxiety did you have?
So, I had the kind of general anxiety for a long time, and I think the first couple of times that I went to yoga, it felt like this is too calm for me. I was too anxious of a person.
It was too calm.
It was really too calm. I just wasn't ready for it.
Right.
So finally, it got so bad that I was having panic attacks.
Right.
I would have to leave the train because I felt like I was gonna, throw up or sweat all over the place. I was waking up in the middle of the night with panic attacks and dreams.
Yeah, people don't get that. Like, you wake up in a panic attack, it's a horrible feeling.
Yeah, and it's hard to explain to people, hey, I feel like I might die right now. Logically, I know I'm not going to, but emotionally, I feel like I'm going to die.
Well, that's the thinking, and that's what yoga, that's the trick with yoga. The trick with yoga is that it teaches you to stop thinking.
Yes.
So if you stop thinking, so what happens is if you start to feel anxious, like if you're like a really obsessive person, like it sounds like we are, then it's sort of like you get one little tooth nail or an issue with your body, and you start to obsess, like what could happen, what would make it worse, right? Totally. So you start going this repetitive cycle, which makes you feel more anxious. And yoga gets you to stop thinking, to go into your breath, to be in present moment, to stop the crazy monkey mind that they call it, which it doesn't ever stop. It's a constant process with yoga, so you finally learn to sort of understand that you're doing that. So you're in the middle of a self-perpetuated panic attack, which, we might have it based upon our past and some genetic stuff, right?
But
this is fascinating. As we're talking, your eyes are changing color. That's really wild, man. That's really cool. Oh my God, like yoga's already happening. Namaste.
You're affecting me.
It's wild. It's totally awesome. It's a great moment. We're having a moment. So that's what happens is you stop thinking and you stop with the monkey mind, and what you do is you start to be in present moment. And if you start to think with empty mind, and you empty your mind, you find that all the problems you have just sort of fades away.
Yeah. But
the depression, the anxiety, the mood disorder, despite the fact we may have genetic disposition for it, we do perpetuate it. So when you start to learn that, you start to understand, I have some control over this, despite the fact that genetically you may not always have ultimate control because it's part of who you are.
And it's really part of a healing process, like you said, and it's a good combination of mental and physical healing.
Totally.
And it's really good for you to take care of yourself that way. So I know you have a very stressful job as the assistant to the president of NBC, and you actually take care of someone else for a living.
Right.
And it's hard to make time to take care of yourself. So how do you fit it into your schedule? How do you do that?
Well, first, full disclosure, I have to say that my boss is awesome. I've been waiting a long time for a really amazing boss.
That's great.
It is beyond great.
That's lucky.
I've earned it.
Even better.
Luck my butt. I have spent my entire life working for very driven people, right? That's what I've done. And she is amazing. She's phenomenal. So helping her is a natural offshoot. I'm a very nurturing person, and people who are very sensitive, people that come into yoga, people who are involved in spiritual practices, are very nurturing for other people. Because why? Because they need to be nurturing for themselves. Mm-hmm. So the reason why people are like that is because they need to focus on themselves. So I'm very naturally nurturing, and I'm lucky for that, but ultimately the nurturing has to come back to yourself. So yoga teaches you about its relationship to the self, to the true self. It's not about your husband, your wife, your dog, your kids, your job, your friends. It's really not. At the end of the day, it's your relationship to yourself, and that's where yoga gets very quiet, and there's nowhere to escape because all you have is yourself.
I love it.
Love that. It's totally it. It's the trick.
So you've gone on this journey. You've obviously fallen in love with yoga, but you're also a pretty sassy person, I must say.
Sassy. I love that word. Sassy.
You're very sassy, and
Getting
I know
that
you're finding your center. You're finding
you
your
always
calm.
are, I think. Yeah.
But I know have a book coming out,
mm-hmm.
and your book actually has a really sassy title. It's called
Namaste, bitches. Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what can we expect in this forthcoming book, and when can we expect to see it?
Totally. Shameless plug as it is.
I'm excited about it. Shameless my butt.
Well, you know what's cool about it? This is the thing. I think a lot of people in yoga become yoga mush brains, and they sort of they talk to you and I don't know who the person is. They're like, present moment and love this, and they quote Buddha and stuff, and I'm like, dude, I don't know who you are. Life is a pain in the butt, and life is hard, and you can look for the positive, but if you're not going to also talk about the fact that it's a pain in the ass, I can't relate.
Right.
So Namaste Bitches is like namaste coming from positivity, a good place, a Stuart Smalley sort of thinking stuff. But yeah, bitches, let's make it a little more real.
Yoga for the real people.
This is what I'm saying. Because we all have to pay our bills, we all have to find what we're supposed to do in our life, we have to deal with the regrets, the choices that we made, that our life is not turning out the way we thought it would be, that we don't have everything that we thought we would have.
Because we're human.
We're totally human. And we're all the same. So if we're all having a hard time, how do we help ourselves to sort of be happier in the midst of chaos?
Yeah.
So Namaste Bitches is really focused. It's called the Pocket Spiritual Guide for Depressed and Really, Really Anxious People. So it's a lot of stuff in there about how really anxious and really depressed people sort of function. And there's chapters like, what travel is like. For anxious people, we have all sorts of ideas about how the plane's going to fall apart and how the pilot was actually last night at the Sheraton in the tiki hut with the terrorists, and now they're flying the plane. And the pilot's locked up in the bathroom. This is what we think.
I'm having anxiety thinking about this.
Go into it. Breathe. So that's the thing. So it's about how to use spirituality to not deny that you feel like that.
Right.
But to accept that that's who you are, love yourself for who you are, and then find a way to not let it control you.
I love that.
That's the thing.
I love
Don't
this.
let your mood disorder control you. Still walk out the door shaking like a leaf. Still walk out the door sweating because you have to face people. Still get out of bed in the morning despite the fact that you don't know why you're getting out of bed in the morning. What's the point?
Right.
What's the point sometimes?
But
you have to keep fighting the good fight, which is not really a fight. It's not a fight.
What do you mean by that?
We always think that life is about a fight, and it's about letting go. It's about really accepting life on the terms that it is.
So all of this is pretty deep, and I know that you've become kind of an expert on it. That's why you're sharing all of your knowledge.
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm just obsessed with it.
No, I mean, really, you have a lot of really,
Sweet.
wisdom and insight that you can share. But for someone who's trying this for the first time, for someone who's totally new, who's like, I don't know, this is a lot for me. What's your best piece of advice for someone who's trying yoga or maybe trying to get over, a mental illness for the first time?
Right, okay, I still have to say something first of all. So we're talking away and I'm trying to concentrate, but you're so gorgeous. And it's I'm sitting here chatting with her and it's like me with a movie star. I love my pretty friends. It's so much fun. So I have to say that. So I was totally distracted for a minute because I have ADD.
We may not edit
so we're gonna go for that. It's so true. It's oh my God, like Liz Taylor. Okay, so why yoga, people yoga. What I would say to them is I would be what I am, which is fully transparent. I have no boundaries, which bothers a lot of people because it bothers the fact that they can't be boundaryless. It's got nothing to do with me.
Huh.
For me, I say to them, I've had a really hard life. I grew up with a really rough childhood. I've written a book called Creepy Kid. It's about my growing up with my bipolar and schizophrenic mother. It's funny, but it's tragic. It was a very abusive childhood.
Wow.
So I have had to fight for years, now that I'm turning 50, to feel like I deserve to be happy. I used to feel I deserved failure.
Wow.
I know, right? It's pretty screwed up. So I know a lot of people feel that way. They just don't want to admit it. That's what I say about the truth of your life. Once you see the truth of why you are holding you back, not the Dr. Ozians, the Oprah stuff, which is great, but if you go really deep, that's when you really affect real change.
Wow.
But a lot of people don't want to go deep because it goes too deep. It freaks them out. And I understand that.
It's scary. Yeah, it can be really scary.
Totally. It's horrible, but it changes your life. And that's why you do it with style, with flair, individuality. That's why you do it with a sense of humor, because life can be really hard and it can be joyous. I don't get the yogis that are like, life is wonderful, great. I'm like, yeah, I don't know that life. I think that's wonderful for you. That's really great. I don't live that life, but I'm glad that you do. The people I relate to are the fighters who realize that life is not really a fight, who have been through horrible stuff and are trying their hardest to find the best in life while they're not denying where they came from and who they are.
Love it.
That's totally it, right?
It is.
That's why you get out of bed in the morning.
It is.
Totally, that's why I get out of bed.
So I'm excited because I really want to try some of your favorite moves.
They're all about balance. My poses, the ones I love are balance, because if you can find balance on the yoga mat, then when you start to flip out in life, when you want to yell at somebody, when you want to call someone a name, when you want to have a panic attack, when you get depressed, when you feel frustrated, when you feel lonely, when you feel sad, when you feel all that, if you learn to balance on the yoga mat, you can go. Then say from your true self what it is that you know that you really do, and say not act out of fear and anxiety and depression.
I mean,
That's it. That's it, right?
That's it.
It's like the best kind of drug there is.
Yes.
Without going to like, oh my god, like Betty Ford.
So thank you for being here.
Totally.
Let's go do some yoga drugs.
Awesome. Namaste, bitches.
Namaste, bitches.
So the first thing you do is you want to lift your left foot up, and you want to bend it a little bit so it goes right in the front. It's got a little bit of a bend in here, right? Now you just get in the moment, breathe a little bit, and then you take your right hand and you put it upside down, and these are the trunks. In other words, you're an elephant. And Ganesh is an elephant in Indian culture. So, can't see my face, hi. Indian culture. And so what you do is, it's called Oh My God. So you breathe in, and you push away all the obstacles by pushing your arms back, your left foot behind you, and it's like, oh my God.
Oh my
God. Come back up to Ganesh. And then push all the obstacles and breathe out. So you breathe in, and you breathe out. One more, and we'll do it through the nose, always through the nose, and through the nose. And say, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it feels so good.
It does feel great.
And then you come back up, always back up, and then come down, and then namaste, bitches.
Namaste, bitches.
And you go to the other side, always have to balance it out. The trick in life is to always balance out the yoga mat.
Great.
So you do your right leg up, and this time left goes down, right goes up, you got your trunk, we breathe in, and oh my God. Really get down low, come back up, breathe in, and oh my God. And come back up, feels so good, and oh my God, and back up. Hold and down. Push it away. Oh my God. And then we come back up. Foot on the ground. Hands to your heart. Namaste, bitches.
Namaste. That was fun.
That's really fun, right?
I love that one.
What's fun is it feels good because you're pushing obstacles away, but you're moving your body, but it's also fun and it's like,
Yes.
and it makes you laugh.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun talking with Michael today about why yoga saved his life, and he showed me a couple of moves. So if you want to get some more information, visit hurraykimmay.com. And don't forget to tweet at me at Hurray Kimmay and tell me all the things that make you say hooray. Until next time, I'm Kim Caldwell. Have a great day.